Good morning, Grace. Actually, more likely, good afternoon by the time you get this. Um, Today is All Saints Sunday, so you should have either attended another service or hummed to yourself the tune of For All the Saints. This is a very special Sunday. Um, it was one of John Wesley's favorite feast days. He saw it as important to the life of the church. And here's a quick snippet from John in 1756. How superstitious are they who scruple giving God solemn thanks for the lives and deaths of his saints. So let us remember those who have passed on into perfection, those who we have considered saints throughout our lives, those who made a big difference on our Christian lives and to the lives of our communities. Know that we will see them again. All right. So this is not my typical recorded service. I found out that my phone split up my service that I did this Sunday at Grace into a few different parts, so it's a little bit tricky to upload. So I'm going to try doing a short service on here. Sorry to not be able to show you the service that we already had, but you'll get the short and sweet version, if you will. So a few announcements that we did at service today was, one, a huge thank you to those who helped, especially United Methodist Women, with the cabbage roll sale that we had yesterday, it was, on Halloween. I was there just for a little bit. They seemed to have it covered. So huge thank you to all of the United Methodist Women, all of our church members who helped out with that. We sold over, I think it was 350 rolls. So I am delighted. And we had a lot of fun doing so. Something else, you should have received a letter, or you will be receiving a letter, and if you don't, let us know. We can send you a copy of an update for our church. Our roof has been fixed. So Sam Graber is a fellow that our dear friend John Palmer knows, and said, hey, come and help us fix our roof. So right now we have a beautiful metal roof. I love the color. It's a beautiful shade of brown, and it's most importantly, it's better than the roof we had before, and it's able to carry us through for the next however many years that we'll be needing a good roof. So thank you, huge thank you to Sam Graber and his men who came and helped out on the roof. I saw them there. I drive by or stop by occasionally. About less than a month, honestly. And just really, it's a good ministry to have happen, is to be able to have a building that is safe and that is clean and that can help protect us from the elements, and especially winter in the North Country. So a huge thank you to Sam, and also to all of the young men who helped out with this roof, and also to our trustees. They really did an excellent job getting someone lined up to fix the roof before winter. One of our trustees drove out and picked up the men to bring them to work, and that's just above and beyond. So huge thank you to our trustees, and especially for some of the last minute fixes of the water tank and taking down the chimney. And it's very clear that we have a bunch of people who really love Grace Church and are willing to spend their time and efforts and money to help us keep a safe building. So we had a bit of an ovation for our trustees today at the service, and it would be a little bit sad if it was just me clapping for them, but I am just very thankful. So something that we did today was a very long announcement time. I'm not going to read all of the announcements that I read during the service today because it took about 15 minutes to complete. I won't say that I'm sorry for doing that, but it was something that just needed to be done, and I couldn't think of a better format than just doing a very long announcement. But friends, I'm going to ask you to kind of be in a time of prayer and a time of consideration, and a time of just thinking about this with me, I think we need to pay really good attention to how we are following the guidelines that were set before us by the state and by our conference and things like that for how we do church together, how we do this worship service together. So I will say that it is a really rugged time in the life of the world right now, in the nation, and especially our own community, between the election drama and some of the fear and some of the hate that seems to be coming out of that, and from the virus really just takes the cake. It really is just something that is hard to describe. It's something that a lot of us have never seen before. It's something we're mourning about. I think I've mentioned this before, but I think we're still mourning about the loss of normalcy that we had before this event. And we really are lonely. I think a lot of us are lonely. It seems like not only our shut-ins, but many people who are actually young and fairly healthy are still feeling that same loneliness of not being able to get out and do the things that they want to do. And I think at Grace Church, we've done a very good job of following our guidelines, especially on my Sundays when I'm there preaching. But there are a few things that I think we've started to loosen up on that I'm going to ask us to kind of retighten ourselves with, kind of refamiliarize like some of the agreements that we agreed to back in July and August. If you'll remember, back in July and August, it was like a devastating change. We couldn't like hug or shake hands or sing. Sing was a huge one. What is church without our voices united in song? But we know that church isn't just about singing. So even with that vital piece missing, we know that God is still with us, that we're still with each other, even though we can't physically be as close. But we agreed to follow arrows on the floor, try and follow the flows of traffic, and we agreed to do the cleaning after the service and things. And we've really done a good job, I'd say, wearing masks, doing the cleaning after the service. Huge thank you to all of you who just grab up Clorox wipes and help me wipe down everything. Sometimes even beat me to it. I'm like, thank you. That's really kind. It's good. It shows that there's a community there who really cares about keeping us safe. But I know mask wearing is a little bit difficult. I'd say Grace Church, you've been very good at wearing your masks, and I'm actually very pleased that many of you wear the masks the entire service, and that just adds just that extra layer of caution that I'm very thankful for. But not only am I thankful for it, I think that our DS and our state are also thankful for that. We were aware, we as a community were aware of some cases that spiked at a local church, actually at a few local churches. And I just want to say that at the places where these cases spiked, the people said that they were following guidelines, but virus numbers still rose within that population. So I just want to remind us that even with masks, even with distancing, it doesn't guarantee us that we're safe. Even with temperature checks too. I know that's something that I'm very thankful that Grace does. I'm really glad that we agreed to be like, yep, let's take temperatures before people come into our house of worship. But we still need to be very careful. I'm just going to remind us that please continue to follow the guidelines. I know that they're not fun, and I know that I might seem rude or annoying sometimes if I keep reminding us about these things, but we just really need to be safe. Something that I highlighted in my announcements this morning is our church is only as strong as our most vulnerable member. And I know that we have a lot of people who are under the at-risk category at Grace. And I just really feel very strongly that we need to be very cautious. You've heard the saying that the chain is only as strong as its weakest link, but really our church is only as strong as our most vulnerable member. I take wisdom from Paul who I think in Romans 14 was talking about eating practices and whether or not people should eat the meat that is sacrificed to other gods. And if they're starving, if they should be able to eat the meat off the altar because it's sacrificed to other gods. And there are no other gods, so I can eat it and be fine. And Paul says, yes, you can. But someone else who sees you, who doesn't have the same theology as you, might think that it's okay for Christians to worship other gods. And that's kind of an extreme case, but if we break it down a little bit, someone who might notice some of us taking down our masks to talk for a second because we want somebody to read our lips might be like, oh, it's okay to take down our mask during when we talk, or it's okay to not follow the arrows on the floor because I just need to get to, you know what I mean. So I just really caution us to be very careful in this time. I know it's so hard. Grace Church, we are a family. It's very exciting to see each other after service, but I'm going to caution us against gathering in the narthex and talking with each other. It's very hard to distance when we're that close, and even with masks on, there's still some transmission of germs and particles that really it would be best if we could avoid. So with that is mostly what I've covered for the updates and the announcements this morning. I'd say that maybe some of you are feeling frustrated or annoyed that these practices are in place. And I would say, yeah, I understand your feelings, and your feelings are valid. But we just really need to sit with this uncomfortableness. We need to sit with this kind of pain, this mourning, this anger, and just realize that this is something that we're doing to try and keep us safe, to keep all of us safe. I'm going to ask you, when I'm not at church, please try and keep the lay speakers accountable to this. And I'm going to continue to talk with them and continue to remind them of our protocols. I need us to be as safe as we can. So this one a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I just really feel very strongly, as you can tell. The hymn we would have had this morning would have been For All the Saints, but I couldn't get the discs to work right, so we didn't have that one instead. But I encourage you to sing For All the Saints. Sing heartily, sing, as John Wesley calls it, sing lustfully. It's on page 711 in your United Methodist hymnal. I would have sang it for you, but this is already going a little long, so there is that. Our first reading was from Revelation. We would have had an Old Testament reading, but today's All Saints Sunday. So we had an interesting reading from Revelation about some of the mysteries of life after death, and when things are starting to become truly realized, and all the different nations and voices that are there with God, and this clean, pure robes that are being worn by people who are going to be with God, and that we will share a likeness with God, with Jesus, after we die, are judged, and are in wherever we're supposed to be. So heaven is a very mysterious thing in the Bible. It's not often clear cut. So there's that. And our second reading was from 1 John 3. I will actually read that to you because it was very short. See what love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know him. Beloved, we are God's children now. What we will be has not yet been revealed. What we do know is this: when he is revealed, we will be like him, for we will see him as he is. And all who have this hope in him will purify themselves, just as he is pure. It's a very interesting reading. Again, it leaves so many mysteries that will not be revealed until whenever they're revealed. So it's very exciting, though. It really makes us realize that we really are children of God, and that there's things that we're looking forward to. Our second hymn would have been Come We That Love the Lord. I enjoyed that one. It's very fun to sing. And that's found on page 732 in your United Methodist hymnal. I encourage you to sing that out loud at home. It's a fun one. So our gospel reading came from Matthew 5, 1 through 12. And if you're a Bible scholar, you'll look at me and say, that's the Sermon on the Mount. And I'll say, yes, it was. So I might as well read this to you too, and we'll end with my sermon. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain. And after that, he sat down, and his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Blessed are those who possess very little on this earth. Blessed are those who have serious doubts about God, but continue to seek him. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who cry when they remember the loss of a parent 30 years ago. Blessed are those who wail for the loss of their children after a natural or human-made disaster strikes, for they will be comforted. Blessed are those who submit when their pride tells them not to. Blessed is the gentle soul who does not pick the flowers because they like them better growing in the field. Blessed is the one who sits quietly when all they want to do is yell, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who see the inequalities of our time and long for righteousness. Blessed are those who call their representatives and share their thoughts. Blessed are those who attend peaceful protests and pray for equality, for they will be filled. Blessed are those who hold their tongues. Blessed are those who give a second chance to a coworker who has lied to them. Blessed are those who take the bugs that come into the house and let them go outside, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the ones who say no to the tempting corruptions of life. Blessed are those who seek the wisdom of God over wealth's temporary pleasures. Blessed are the ones who can laugh at themselves, but not cruelly, for they will see God. Blessed are the ones who cry at violence and plea for it to end. Blessed are those who do not scheme for power. Blessed are those who interrupt corruption with peaceful defiance. Blessed are those who meditate. Blessed are those who mediate for a couple in a time of distress, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are the innumerable people who have suffered for Christ's sake. Blessed are those who are incorrectly charged for a crime, but still hold strong to their faith. Blessed are those whose houses of worship have been destroyed or closed, but they continue to worship God together, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are you when others gossip about you. Blessed are you when others curse you or swear that you cannot be a part of God because of your sexuality. Blessed are you when other Christians question your faith. Blessed are you when you worry about telling people your faith, but you do it anyway. For you, like those before you, will see a reward in heaven. And so my time is coming to a close. I ask you to continue your prayers for those who are listed on our prayer list. Also pray for Jim, who is having trouble with his vision. I was thinking that I cannot imagine a world without my sight. I rely so heavily on it. So prayers for Jim. And receive the blessing, friends. May the God of endurance and encouragement grant you to live in such harmony with one another, in accord with Christ Jesus, that together you may with one voice glorify the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for your patience, friends. I look forward to seeing many of you when I see you next, and continue to think about those guidelines. Continue to try and hold fast to them, even though many of them are inconvenient. I'll ask you to continue to refrain from shaking hands in this time, and to refrain from taking off your mask while you're speaking with people, and continue to try your best to stay 6 feet apart. I know that that's not always possible. We have paperwork to sign and we have meetings to go to, but continue to do your best, please. And thank you for the work you've done so far. I'm very, very lucky to be at Grace. I feel very blessed to be there. So, peace, friends. I will see you in 2 weeks, most likely, and have a good week. Bye.